Ta'ala. Suppose there's a non-Muslim who believes that Islam is a ruthless religion. It is a merciless religion. It is a religion connected with terrorism. It is a religion which does not give rights to the woman. It's a religion which conflicts with science. And if he rejects Islam, I will tell him, I too reject such a religion which is merciless, which is ruthless, which does not give rights to the woman, which is unscientific. At the same time, I have to correct the concept of Islam and tell him that Islam is a religion which is merciful. It has got nothing to do with terrorism. It gives equal rights to the woman. It does not conflict with science, it conciliates with science. Then, inshallah, the non-Muslims will accept the religion of Islam. It's our duty to correct the concept. In the same manner, I have to correct the concept of God Almighty, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the atheists. The best definition that I can give of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of God Almighty, from the Holy Quran is Surah Ikhlas, chapter number 112, which says, Qul huwallahu ahad. Say He is Allah, one and only. Allahu samad. Allah, the absolute and eternal. Meaning, He is absolute, He is eternal. He has no beginning, He has no end. He is the one who does not require any help. He does not require things to eat. He does not require sleep. He is the one who helps other people but does not require help. Allahu Samad. Allah, the absolute and eternal. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He begets not, nor is begotten. He has got no father and mother. He has got no children, no begotten children. وَلَمْ يَقُلْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. And there is nothing unto Him like in this world. There is nothing comparable to Him in this world. The moment you can compare Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to anyone, He is not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَمْ يَقُلْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. This is a four-line definition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If anyone who you claim to be God Almighty, who you claim to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fits in this four-line definition, we Muslims, we have got no objection to accept him as God Almighty, to accept him as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What? Which are your candidates? Bring your candidates one by one. Some may say that Bhagwan Rajnish, oh show, He is God Almighty. Let's put him to test. The first criteria is Qul huwallahu ahad. Say He is Allah, one and only. Rajnish, we have several people like Rajnish. We have plenty of them in our country. But still, a follower of Rajnish will say, no, Rajnish is unique. He's only one. Okay, give him chance. Okay, let him pass the first test. No problem. The second test is Allahu Samad. Allah, the absolute and eternal. He does not require any help. He is the person who helps other people. Rajnish, we know very well. He was suffering from asthma, from diabetes. He could not cure his own disease. What will he cure your disease and my disease? When he went to America, he was imprisoned by the American government. Imagine God being imprisoned. He could not free himself. How will He free you and me when we are in trouble? And then He gives a statement that they gave me poison, slow poisoning. Imagine God can be poisoned. Put him to test. The Archbishop of Greece said that if you do not throw this God man Rajnish out, he will destroy his houses. and the house of his disciple, and the president had to throw him out of Greece. Is he absolute and eternal? The third test, lam yalid wa lam yulad. He begets not, nor is he begotten. I don't know how many children he had, but I do know that he had a father and a mother. He was born on the 11th of December 1931 in Jabalpur, and he died on the 19th of January 1990. But when you go to his center in Pune, there it is mentioned, Bhagwan Rajneesh, never born, never died, but visited the earth from the 11th of December 1931 to the 19th of January 1990. They did not mention that he was not allowed to enter 21 countries of the world. He was not given the visa. He tried to enter, he could not enter 21 countries. Imagine, God is visiting the world. God is visiting the world. He can't visit 21 countries. Is this the God you believe in? And the last test, وَلَمْ يَقُلْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. And there is nothing like it. There is nothing like him in this world. There's nothing. There is nothing comparable. The moment you can think what God is, you can draw his figure, he's not God. We know very well that Rajneesh, he had long hair, he had a big flowing beard, which was white in color, he wore a robe. The moment you can think, you can draw a picture of God, he is not God. وَلَمْ يَقُلْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. If you say that God Almighty, suppose, he's 1,000 times as strong as Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do you know Arnold Schwarzenegger? He was crowned Mr. Universe, the strongest man in the world. If you say that God Almighty is 1,000 times as strong as Arnold Schwarzenegger or Dara Singh or maybe King Kong, he's not God. The moment you can compare him with anyone, whether 1,000 times, whether 1,000,000 times, whether 10 million times, the moment you can compare him with anything, he is not God. وَلَمْ يَقُلْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. There is nothing unto him like in this world. I leave it up to the distinguished audience, the intellectual audience, to decide for themselves that whichever God they worship in, whichever God they are worshipping, let them put their God to test, to the 4 tests of the Quran. If the God you are worshipping, if they pass these 4 tests, we Muslims, we have got no objection in accepting him as God Almighty. Otherwise, you can decide for yourself. After giving these proofs, some atheists, they may agree that now we believe in such a God. But most of the atheists will not agree. They will say, we don't just believe in such definitions, we believe in something which is ultimate. We believe in science. I do agree. Today is the age of science and technology. So let's put the scientific knowledge that we have, let us apply it to the Quran.